Yo, what up everyone, this is J Fuzz Type V. In today's video, we're talking about all three different roommates I had in college. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Alrighty, so my first roommate in college, we're going to call him Shithead, because he was a shithead. But, pretty much how I met this kid was we had this group chat thing for school. We joined it, we had similar interests, similar ideas, so we decided, become roommates. He's a junior, I'm a junior, so it worked pretty well. So, pretty much, it's moving crew. One of the first stories is moving crew was helping us move in. He moved in before me. So I walked in there, shook his hand, was like, oh, what's up, man? How you doing? My pops helped me moved in. We moved in. Now, I remember our last bin that we brought into my room, because a staff member helps you bring it in. We bring it in. And I remember I took the box fan out of my room, or the bin, and put it into my room. And I look up and I see a sock on the smoke alarm. And now right there, that's an offense. Like, they can write you up for that. They even kick you out of the dorm because you're technically blocking smoke or anything possible fire alarming for it. So that was the first first thing, and I started laughing. And then we immediately closed the door, and we just started laughing about it. Cause like, wow, we literally just joined the room here, and we already have a violation. But yeah, so pretty much about him. He was pretty cool in the beginning. We had similar interests. He kind of brought me around. He had some friends there already. I didn't have any friends I knew there, at least that I know of from previous schools. But yeah, so he had a lot of people at that dorm that he knew, and he kind of just brought me along, and we kind of just for the first week or so, first 2 weeks I'd say we walked around together a lot and just kind of did a lot of things. And eventually we found our own friend kind of groups. And we stopped kind of really hanging out all the time. But, we would hang out in the room and everything. Let's see here. I got some stories written down. Yeah, we smoked all the time. Great time in that room. We played music all the time. I remember we had a JBL Charge 4, one of those bigger speakers. We'd play music all hours of the day, like literally on 24/7. And for some reason, whenever I put music on using his speaker, because I would ask, he was cool with it sometimes, and then sometimes he would just shut it off and then restart it so it disconnected my phone, and then he would start playing his music. Dickhead move, but I don't know why you just say, hey, can I just use a speaker? Weird. But actually, that's how I met my last roommate that I actually roomed with, was because he was my neighbor in my first room. And he was always like, yo, you guys play dope music. Like, there's a lot of rappers and everything he liked. So that's how we became roommates with my last roommate. But let's see here, some stories. Yeah, so he had a girlfriend in college, and she slept over all the frickin' time. And that's cool and all, like, you want to sleep over here and there, like, whatever, boyfriend, girlfriend, that's cool. But, bro, I mean, it was, like, every frickin' night, dude, for, like, 2-3 months, just consistent all the time, bro. And it was just frickin' weird, like, eventually I was going to say, like, yo, can you just, like, one night or a couple nights here and there, like, not have her over? Like, because at that point, all the tension was just, like, on that side of the room. I couldn't really have any friends over because she was over and he was kind of, like, strict over certain things like that. But it was just, like, just weird, Funny thing is, he used to drink beer with his vitamins. I know that's a joke and all, but that kid used to do it, like, literally every single day. I thought it was hilarious. But also, like, damn, this kid likes to drink. Let's see here. I have one more story about him, but we're going to keep him towards the end of the video, because it is pretty crazy and just weird in general. But, yeah. So that was my first roommate. He was a shithead. I'm just going to leave it at shithead. Let's see here. So, actually, to add on that, the reason why I stopped being roommates with him was we got COVID, and I was the first one to report it. Got COVID, had to sit in quarantine and everything for like 10, 11 days, right? Eventually got out of it. It was a really shitty situation. Come back, and I hear about how he was complaining about me, how I'm being a pussy because I'm the one who reported it. Saying like, oh, you're just sick, man, you don't need to go. Meanwhile, he was sick before me, so I'm pretty sure he passed it on to me, and that's what I'm thinking, because we're roommates. But, since due to close contact, we're in the same room, he had to automatically go too, and he went, and I heard got himself set up, brought a ton of beer and everything, and I went over there. And then, so by the time I got out of quarantine, he and like got back to my official room. He was in there for about 3 days or so, and he broke out. And I'm literally sitting in my room. It's like midday, like evening time. Just sitting there, and all of a sudden this kid just like bursts through the door. He's like, dude. He sits down. He's like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I'm like, why? What happened, man? He's like, dude, I sat there for 3 days. I was pacing back and forth, smoking all the time, drinking. I just couldn't do it, man. I felt isolated in the room. Like, oh, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be isolated in the room. I mean, I dealt with it. And I'm just sitting there in my head. I'm like, dude, did this kid really break out? Like, now, a lot of schools and a lot of, like, administration and law say, like, oh, this is a misdemeanor. You're not really supposed to do this. Dude, it was reported to school. Nothing ever happened. They don't care. They push a lot of things under the rug, just in society in general. But yeah, there wasn't really anything that happened because of that. But due to him doing that, I wasn't cool how he did that. How it was kind of like a health violation. And at this time, COVID, you didn't really know. You really don't. We didn't have a lot of knowledge like we do have now. But pretty much, I pulled some strings, and I was able to switch rooms. So I got a new room. It was on the third floor now. Went to the third floor. Had no roommate, I believe, for the next semester. And then a new semester started, a new year started. And this cool kid, we're going to call him Brian. Great kid. Great, absolutely super nice kid. He was really never there because he slept with his girlfriends all the time. And eventually he got like an apartment with her, so was like really like almost never there. But he would go in there for he would usually be there Monday through Friday, weekend never there. So it was great because I could have some girls over and everything. It was pretty cool. I remember him being super nice. He collected cards, like baseball cards and all these different sports cards. Super nice kid. I said that for the fifth time now, but he was a really dope kid. So cool story about him. He worked for the fire department kind of area, and around that kind of Spear department area, and he volunteered, and pretty much I remember we had fire inspections at our dorm, and majority of people, just to be honest with you, have extension cords and everything and extra outlets, and that's a violation. They only they're supposed to be like the ones that are like approved to have like anti-spark or whatever, so they don't go on fire. Anti like the automatic shutoffs, but he didn't have that, or I didn't have that on mine. So, majority of people didn't because they're very specific, a little bit more expensive. So mine didn't have it, so I was kind of freaking out. And then I had a what do you call it? A mattress cover that you're not allowed to have. It makes your mattress a little bit comfortable, but it's a fire violation. So, I kind of push that thing to the side. I push all those like violation things to the side, all the violation items. And majority of people have them. They usually just take it when they go in your room. But I want to take, so obviously that the mattress cover made my mattress way comfortable because, dude, straight up, the mattresses are straight like you're sleeping on like cement bricks, dude. They're not anything comfortable to sleep in, especially being a bigger guy. But we have fire inspections. He's like talking about, oh, you can't have this, you can't have that. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you know what? If they take it, they take it. But I took a majority of things out and hit a lot of things in my room, so it didn't seem like I had a lot of violations. But a majority of people have violations. You can't have like posters up a certain height, and you can't have things hanging. It was just weird. But I remember fire marshal comes in, and I'm like sitting there kind of like freaking out a little bit, like, yo, I don't know if I'm gonna get some things pulled or get like some kind of written up, this dorm. But he was like, oh, I volunteer for the fire department. You can see my plaque right here on the wall. The guy's like, oh, okay, word. You have anything that you want to talk about? He's like, no, actually, I have my roommate here and told him things he's not supposed to have, and we're good. He's like, oh, okay. Well, you guys have a nice day. And just walked right out. Like, literally, bro, I was looking down the hallway because when they came in, they come in as a group and everything, the fire inspection crew. And there's like going back and forth to every room, skipping a room here and there. And our door is wide open. We're ready for it. And in every room he went in before us, he would stand there for like a couple minutes, talk about certain things, maybe take a few things. And yeah, but when he came to my room, nothing. It was like, oh, okay, you work for the fire department? Okay, cool. And walked right out. And I was like, bro, right there, he saved me. You know, like I didn't have to deal with any bullshit. But yeah, he was a cool roommate. That definitely was a pretty cool perk. He worked for fire department. You also got like a lot of like, and one of those things so you could like hear the nearest fire call, or like he would get called to like EMT and everything. So I could hear like things that are happening in the dorm before they actually happen. Like, oh, someone was smoking in the room again. That's why the alarm went off. Or this person got hurt. He would never tell me the person because that's a violation. But he would be like, oh, you know, in this dorm, this person, you know, had a seizure or something. You know, like it was pretty cool. He was a really cool roommate. And if you're listening to this, you know who you are, Brian. You're pretty dope, man. You're pretty dope. So amazing. By the way, I like your YouTube videos too. Great videos. Keep doing them, bro. But so that's that one roommate, Brian. After that, I went into a suite. So I think I had one semester with him, and then right after that, I went to a suite. Suite, I lived with 6 people. Not gonna talk about a few of them, but pretty much my roommate, the double I had with the roommate, my roommate. We're just gonna call him. We're call him Jay. Okay. You know who you are, Jay. My last roommate, nicest kid in the world. Still one of my like best friends. Dope kid. We just had the same mindset, honestly. This was like a roommate like I actually vibed with. We'd have like great conversations. We'd talk all the time. We had literally the same schedule. Wake up at the same time. Go to breakfast at the same time. Go to lunch at the same time. We like literally just we're on a schedule. I would say I'm very like schedule orientated. I like routines, and he had a routine. I had a routine. We did the same routine. We always studied. We hyped each other up. You know, always doing the same. Like, yo, you need help with this, because you know I was 2 grade levels above him. He was a sophomore, and I was a senior this time, right? So I always was there to help him out. I'm like, hey man, if you ever need any help, any tips, I'd help him out. And it was just always cool because he really, we kind of lifted each other up, and now he's carrying on the 4.0 legacy, my man. But yeah, so we always studied. It was pretty cool. He actually got me into working out because he was I wouldn't call it gym freak because sometimes there's some negative connotations to that. But he was overall he worked out all the time, like literally 6 days a week, maybe even 7 days a week, and he still does. Shout out. And he got me into working out, so now I've been working out because of him. Because it's just like, damn, like he was just talking about the benefits and everything, and it was just dope. So in that dorm, that suite, right? So there's 3 doubles, 6 people in there, and you have a common room, big common room, say your bathroom. Yeah, so pretty much, I was the oldest one there, and everyone called me like the uncle of the room. It would come to advice to me because I was a little bit older, and maybe I was a little bit more mature with certain things. I would goof off all the time, but yeah, so it was pretty cool because of the uncle there. Also, there's 2 other roommates I want to shout out in that room. We got Matt and Bronson. What up, bros? You guys are the G's. Great kids. Love them. We always had great memories drinking, smoking, and everything. It was just great memories with them. Awesome people. Yeah, so that was my roommate, Jay. Then I had Brian. And before that, I had Shithead. Now, I got one more crazy story. It's about Shithead. I'm going to go in depth on that. To stay tuned. Be ready. Crazy story. Alright. So I forgot to mention this before I dive right into the story about Shithead. But obviously, Shithead is the worst roommate I had. Hence his name. But then you have Brian. Brian, awesome roommate. Amazing roommate. Super nice kid. Was just really never there. Just hung out with his girlfriend a lot, which is not a problem. You do your own thing. But awesome kid. Just want to say that, add that. And then Jay, my favorite roommate, super nice kid. Still friends with him. Still friends with him today. And I call these people kids. Meanwhile, they're literally like, 2 years younger than me. But whatever. Then you got Matt and Bronson, super nice kids, and we're still friends to this day. And we all, we still try to make plans and everything. Super nice kids. But let's talk about Shithead and the crazy story there. So, like I said, he had his girlfriend there all the time. Now, the one thing that pissed me off all the time about him is this kid, I know there's PDA, public display of affection, But this man would like straight up like this, be making out all the time in that room, and that's like it's cool and all. You do your own thing, but bro, like I don't want to be hearing like, you know, hearing that shit all the time, which is why I played video games a lot and had headphones on and put my music on loud because I don't want to hear that shit. And I knew they were doing it all the time because I would stand up, go to like my bed and everything in the area, and I just see it, and I'm like, oh my god, all the freaking time, dude. But let's talk about this crazy story. Okay, so I'm sitting in my room one day. Ray has his girlfriend over. They're laying down together. They shut the lights off. They have the TV on. They're watching TV. I'm on my Xbox, have my headphones in, and I'm just listening to music and playing Call of Duty. So I had Call of Duty playing I was playing Call of Duty and I had music playing in the background. I had my headphones on, right? Now, I was playing it pretty loud, so I guarantee you, because on the headphones I have, you could hear like the music playing because how loud it was when you were like a distance away. So I knew they could hear me, and maybe they thought I just couldn't hear anything. But yeah, so just to add a little bit before I actually tell what happens. So I'm playing the video game. Remember being a little high at this time, just playing some video games, and I'm playing Call of Duty, and all of a sudden I start hearing like these noises, and I'm like, I don't think anything of it, I don't really think anything of it. And the only reason why I'm able to hear anything outside the headphones, because when music was on blast and the game was on blast, I couldn't hear anything besides the game and the music. But sometimes when the game would end and then you go back into the lobby and you're about to go in a rematch, you would hear what's going on in the room because you don't have the game volume so loud or like gunshots in Call of Duty. So I could hear what was going on. And this one time when I go back, the game ends. I go in go in the lobby and the music is a little bit lower, and everything's a little bit lower, the game volume, and I start hearing these noises. And now when I say noises, you know what I mean. Noises as in like, adult things. You know what I mean? I start hearing those kind of noises while I'm playing the video game, and I'm thinking like, oh, maybe I'm this high, maybe I'm this tweaking or whatever. So I go on another match, man. And I start playing another match, and I start playing it and everything, and then all of a sudden like the game volume, like it's not so loud at that moment in the game, and I hear it and I'm like, dude, what? Are you serious? And like, dude, you could just hear it, and so I just immediately took my headset off, slammed it down on the table. I remember this so specifically. Like they had these like rocking chairs, and they're kind of hard to push, but like if you pushed hard enough, you'd be able to like push it across the room. I remember standing up, my legs, when I stood up, my legs shot the chair back, and it hit his desk because his desk was right near, and it made a loud noise. It was pretty much me communicating without me communicating to them that like, dude, I know what the hell you're doing. Stop it. I took my headset off. I grabbed my smoking bag, grabbed my phone, grabbed my student pass, opened the door and slammed the door when I walked out. And I immediately went to one of my friend's room, knocked on his door. I was like, yo, dude, you trying to hang out? He's like, actually, I am. And I walked right out of there. And yeah, ever since then, I literally, like, whenever I walked in that room, I would open the door and look down. Because I don't want to, like, when you're looking up, you see both our beds. So, I don't want to see any shit happening. I did that all the time. And I remember I came back at like 1 o'clock in the morning because I was like, fuck this kid. And I don't want, I don't want to deal with any of that bullshit. And I remember I walked in, I made sure to be very loud. I made sure to make sure they knew I was in the room. Like putting my stuff down loud, kind of pacing back and forth. Oh, I forgot this before I go to my bed, Made sure because they knew what they were doing, pushing the line, and I wasn't mess with it. And yeah, that is the time my roommate did some adult things in my room while I was there, and freaking disgusting, weirdo. And I know he doesn't mess with me anymore ever since I moved out and everything. And I heard he talked shit about me. Remember at a bar, actually, we're going to a bar, hanging out with my friends, and I saw these few other kids I knew. I walked up with one of my friend, and I'm like dabbing them up, like, "Yo, you guys have a good night. You know, be safe and everything." And then shithead walks up and dabs everyone in that circle, and just looks at me and walks away. He's like, "All right, guy," and then he like I said, shithead walks up, dabs everyone, looks up, looks at me, and he's like, "Hey, you guys have a good night," and walks right away. Like, he makes it known that like he doesn't fuck with me, you know. And it was just always a weird vibe when he would never look at he never looked at me again ever. Like, bro, when I'm talking about like when I walk down the hallway, this kid would immediately look at his phone, immediately look down all the time, and his girlfriend all the time, bro. Freaking, maybe he was just embarrassed of himself, or he just never wanted to associate with me again. That's probably what it was, because he knew I was talking shit about him. He was talking shit about me. But it came to the point where I just stopped because like the kid's not worth my energy. So I could live rent free in my head. So yeah, those are my roommates. Shout out to the good roommates. Screw you, shithead. And you know, if shithead, if you know who you are, you know, if you're watching this, yeah, you're a shithead. But yeah, that is it, guys. You guys have a wonderful day. If there's anything I can learn or teach from this situation, all these stories, is make sure you know who you room with. Like, actually, like, you know, hop on FaceTime or something and talk to each other and get to know each other. Maybe like we actually met up beforehand. I met up with shithead, and like I'm telling you, like we're on the same vibe. It's just like getting to the point where I think he just didn't really mess with me as much anymore, and he kind of just did his own thing. But yeah, screw you, shithead. Um, is there anything else I could teach? Yeah, just make sure like you really know your roommate. Meet up beforehand. And also, one thing my brother told me that is so true. Now, shithead said, "Yo, to be honest with you, I'm a dick. I'm a dick. I'm just gonna be honest with you, I'm a dick." When someone says it, you believe them. You don't be like, "Oh, well," because some people joke around about that, but he wasn't joking around about that, and you really take that serious. Honestly, if someone says you're a shithead, you know, walk away. Don't become the roommate. Like, it's not like, "Oh, I'm a shithead." Huh? No, it's like, dude, I'm a shithead. Like, I'm actually like, you know, I really am. Like, I'm not a nice kid. Yeah, maybe you should step away. You know, that's one thing I learned. If someone says that, you take it to heart and you don't, you don't room with them or you don't associate with them unless you want some bullshit. But yeah, shout out to all the good roommates. Screw you, shithead, again for the fifth time. But yeah, and also enjoy college. Stuff is fun. You know, make the most out of it because it's only one time in your life. You want to make the most of the situation or just the experience, and you know, do things that you're gonna do, like wouldn't normally do there because you only have it one time in your life. But you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.